It's going to take time for people to take on the responsibility of managing this wonderful gift of nature, the earth, water, all the wonderful things. We have topsoil, and we have to take care of the earth. We have to assume responsibility. We have brains, and the brains can be programmed in many different directions. I envision millions of people with lack of purchasing power, medical care. Then, as it gets worse, since they're cutting back on spending, of funding and food for the hungry, if they cut back, they're going to have mass riots. Mass riots will result in minorities being in the house by 9 o'clock in certain districts. They don't want walking around the street. So they'll be imprisoned or put in the house. Or stay in your house and you come out tomorrow morning at 7, it's okay. They will regulate the time. It's called fascism. But fascism won't work for a long period of time. Just it temporarily holds people in check. But if they can't, there's no purchasing power, insufficient purchasing power, they can't maintain a police force or army. So fascism, unless you take over all the industries and everything, and then operate the government by big business. But they don't need it. They don't need to do anything. They make the laws, you obey them, or you're out. I see fascism as probable. I see chaos, riots, all kinds of trouble. More crime, people break-ins. I see cars for sale very cheap because people don't have money. And the housing problem will continue because the government doesn't offer anything. Government meaning, in order for a money system out there, you have to tax some people to get the money. If most people are not working, you can't tax them. So you have to cut back on medical care, education, all the other areas that the system can't support. Chaos means when the government steps in finally and says, 9 o'clock is the time to go in your house. The government will regulate that. Government meaning industry. That's what I mean by government. And then during the Depression, there were 15 million people sleeping in every empty lot. That's a lot of people. What happened is they bought houses and cars and the banks failed. You know what? They closed down. And they couldn't get their own money out, so they were kicked out of the buildings they bought. And they were sleeping in every empty lot, millions of Americans. And I looked around and the stores had everything in the windows. You know, radios in those days, whatever people would need, but they had no money. So then I thought, there's something wrong with our system. You know, how can this happen in this country? Will work. It does not attain perfection. It's just a far better system than any other system that we know of today. In other words, I'm not talking about utopian societies where everybody is happy. There's no such condition. All social systems are in a state of evolution. That is, an established society is one that has found a way that worked for the people in control of that society. Whereas all societies are emergent, constantly evolving. There's no such thing as attaining a sane world. Sanity depends on the acquisition of information and applying that information to the well-being of all people and protecting the environment.